We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
This weekend, we went to our limbic imprint, and we kind of did some shifting around that. And I mean, Angela was telling me how white my eyes are, and I feel like I was reborn again here. And I mean, my mom had a C-section. I wasn't breastfed, and like I went back to that, and I see what that did to me as an individual more clearly now than I've ever before. Can you maybe explain like when these things happen to people? Like, I mean, I don't even remember before I was 3 years old.
Yeah, there is that mechanism that our nervous system has just by design, by our mammalian nature. When the going gets tough, we have the capacity to completely check out, dissociate from this body. It's that same mechanism when women don't remember being raped or children don't remember some severe forms of abuse, when it's really, really scary to be present, to feel what's happening. The nervous system has that merciful capacity to not be there. That's why we mostly don't remember our birth, because it, the sensory overload that happened to us, the the noises, the feeling of cold, sharp metal objects cutting through our body in form of knives and needles and bright lights and the rough handling in the delivery room, it just short circuits the nervous system to the point that the baby completely just takes off, emotionally shuts down and go into severe form of numbness, sort of amnesia. It's the same mechanism that if you've seen on Discovery Channel, the predator is hunting after the prey, and the moment the poor gazelle is caught, she goes completely loose, limbo. She is not present there anymore because nature doesn't really want anybody to suffer. So the mammalian brain is designed to check out at that moment. So that's what happens when the baby is being handled disrespectfully, when the treatment is below the dignity, when the baby is just tossed around and turned and poked and measured and just treated as its piece of senseless um, meat, piece of some flesh that doesn't feel anything. There is this instant moment that is governed by reptilian brain, which is yet another part of the brain. It's right on top of the spinal cord, and that's the part of the brain that is responsible for the pure physiology of the functioning of the human body. So from that place, there goes, whoop, all the switches go off, and we go through the early life completely numb, not not accessing our life basically. And that's the point in life when we have the ability to learn the most. That's the time when we can pick up a dozen languages, when we can pick up um, lots of skills, that would be absolutely marvelous to have in life. Understanding what's good, what's not good for us, what's right to eat, what's not right to eat, what kind of relationship with our bodies we should have, what kind of relationships with our sexuality, with our sensuality. The babies are extremely sensuous beings, very open and um, available for experiencing pleasure. And the fact that we go through this most precious time when all our senses are on average about 150 times sharper than those of adults, And we go through that early part in that amnesia. It's a waste. It's such a waste. It's just makes me so sad to think about how much of our potential is wasted just because that formative period is ignorantly harsh. It doesn't have to be, but it is. It absolutely does not have to be so chaotic and dramatic and painful and weird, inhumane. You know, animals don't treat their young so rough and so poor. There is no need for us to keep doing it to ourselves.
And you've worked with children that whose parents like had a loving atmosphere before they were conceived, while they were for the whole entire 9 months, and then natural birthing and just held close to them, breastfed to the purest ability.
Yeah.
And what's the difference in those children?
They're like a different species. They're so different, and it's visible. You don't even have to measure their cognitive functions or the way they operate psychically. You know, it's visible when you look at them that these people are free from this deep-seated fear that is not in the corners of their eyes. You know, it's missing that contraction that most of the adults on this planet live in. You know, most of the adults, when you look on the street, when you look at the supermarket, on any gathering, you see most of the people are not present in their bodies. Most of the people are completely absent. They just go on autopilot and just go day by day doing what they're supposed to do, what is expected of them. It's sort of joyless repetition of kind of a routine that they somehow fell into. And there is fear, there is low self-esteem, there is addictions to drugs, there is indecisiveness, there is so many behavioral patterns that are linked to our formative period. That's when they start. But it's not even this in numbness and aloofness, the violence. Stan Grove did the statistics. 100% of the most violent criminals that are sitting on the death row right now were unwanted babies.
Wow. 100%.
100% of most violent criminals
Wow.
were unwanted babies.
Wow.
And it doesn't mean that every unwanted child will become a criminal. I was an unwanted child. It pushed me in a different direction. So it does not mean that every unwanted child will end up on a death row, but it does mean that all of those who did end up on the death row were unwanted children.
Wow. I mean, look at you. Your mission now. I mean, you seriously have a strong mission. You're going to change the world.
I am changing the world.
Yeah.
Ready or not, here I come. I made a movie 3 years ago, and without any marketing, any advertising whatsoever, I didn't move a finger. I just simply did not have resources to promote it. And in 3 years, just from my website, it's now in 56 countries, translated into 12 languages by volunteers, just people who would watch it, and I have to translate it so my people could learn it too. And this movie is just marching the world and creating silent revolution. It's empowering women to learn the truth. What I am receiving as a feedback is that just by watching it, women snap off that mass hypnosis that they've been under for thousands of years.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.